I, who has been saying literally since last year's deadline, the Cubs will be trading Willson Contreras, am shocked by this and don't really get how Cubs fans could talk themselves into being happy about this, because I don't think this increases his chances of being here long term.
They've already made it very clear that they do not want to sign him long term, or else they would have talked about a deal. It has been clear that they don't believe in some of the aspects of Contreras as a player and a catcher and a leader, frankly, after what happened last year at the All-Star break that I went through the other day on the show. I don't believe that they want to be in business with Willson Contreras long-term on a deal. So that's going to make for a couple of months of extreme awkwardness here.
Ken Rosenthal reporting, the Cubs not trading Contreras and Happ. Source tells The Athletic. So they did not get their price met. They are staying put.
Those tweets are coming. Carlos Rodon, Jock Peterson staying with the Giants as well.
I think there's no way to characterize this as anything other than a failure by the Cubs. Now, Happ, listen, I want them to extend Ian Happ. So you do not need to trade Happ. There's an extra year of control.
Yep, I didn't want them to trade Ian Happ. If they want to trade him in the offseason, okay, or next deadline, they didn't have to do that now. And his market went away. But with the Contreras one?
How is it not a failure, man? If you don't want to extend him long term, and now there's the qualifying offer, and the best you're going to get is one draft pick for him, and, oh, by the way, you put Willson Contreras through the standing ovation and the long, awkward goodbye, and now you're going to suppress his value in free agency in the offseason, so he's going to get less money on the open market, because if people don't know how it works, if he was traded at this deadline, the team that would be acquiring him could not then extend a qualifying offer to him, so he would just be a free agent with no draft pick having to go back to the team that's losing him. So Jed Hoyer came to the conclusion that whatever was offered for Willson Contreras
is not better
than one compensatory draft pick. And I find that very hard to believe.
And remember that the compensatory draft pick, because the Cubs are not one of the teams that qualifies for revenue sharing, which is the 13.
Right, it's a lower pick.
It's after the second round. It is a competitive balance pick in round B, so it's after the second round of the draft pick. That's what they're getting. You don't put Willson Contreras through all of this and put your fan base through all of this for weeks and months and then not do this at the deadline. This is a brutal, emotional do-si-do that has been played with Contreras and the fans by the Cubs.
Well, if Jed Hoyer thought that he wasn't getting rave reviews for how he explained rebuild, whenever he meets the media, he is going to have an interesting time explaining this one. We'll get him on the station soon. He's very accessible. He'll explain it. He'll do his best. But I want to hear from Cubs fans who are happy by this, because I think that is a very tough thing to rationalize. Apparently, Shane was just screening calls by 670 The Score. You happy or sad? So let's hear from some happy people here. Zach on the west side. Zach, what's up, man? You're on The Score.
Yo, what's going on, fellas? Very happy to know that the boys are staying in town on the north side. I think that the dramatics that, you guys play, the Cubs play, Willson plays, everybody plays a dramatic to build this MLB trade deadline up. And it's really good. They really hold your hearts as fans to the radio or to, certain media outlets. But to be honest about it, like they always say, it's a business. And if you don't get the full value back, and he'll be judged whether he did it right or not in a few years. But right now, he got some players in the minor leagues that could become some players in a couple of years. And why not keep Willson? He's an all-star catcher.
Well, but do you think they're going to keep him beyond this year?
I'm sorry?
Do you think they're going to keep him beyond this year?
Happ, maybe.
What? No, Happ they have under contract beyond this year. Contreras. Contreras is the one, Zach. Like, if Willson Contreras leaves this offseason, I don't know how this makes sense.
It makes sense. I think in me watching the rebuild, you know what I mean? Like, they're really betting on Amaya. He should have been healthy this year and really, showing what the future could be at catcher. But they still got an all-star. You know what I mean? You still got an all-star, and that's Tips. no matter how low you may think of those chips, he has his own way. You know what I mean? And it's sort of like,
yeah, but
okay,
you got to
do I
think
get
about.
rid of-
You got to think about this irrespective of Miguel Amaya and who might be coming up next. This is an asset that you're not doing anything with here at the deadline. And now you will be forced to either offer him a qualifying offer and hurt his market, or you would just let him go. There's two ways that Jed could spin this, Danny. I wonder what you think he would do. One, he could come out and say, we didn't get offered anything of consequence, and we thought this is not better than the draft pick, and we don't want to identify ourselves as a team that takes less. You can't do that. Reputations matter, asking prices matter, honor matters in this business. We couldn't do that and accept less. So we didn't do it. So that's one thing they could do. The other they could do is come out and say, we've decided we're going to try and extend Willson Contreras, that we're going to work on a contract with him, that we would like to actually maintain. Would that be a huge left turn? But if you're worried about public perception, you're worried.
No, I don't think they should be worried necessarily. You should not be governed by public perception. But the first thing that you said, is way oversharing. He's not going to say. He will say. I think he's willing to say, our price was not met. The trades that we made, we felt like we got good value for. The trades that were not made, we discuss everything. We did not think our price was met.
We're not just not going to give somebody away.
I don't think he'll even talk about the draft pick part of it, because then that implies that he's already made a decision on a qualifying offer, and I don't think he needs to reveal that part of it.
Okay,
yet.
well, other than the draft pick part, he could say our price wasn't met, and we're just not going to give somebody away. That sets a bad precedent for future deals.
I think that is what I think that is overwhelmingly likely what he's going to say. We had conversations about more players than were dealt. Our price was not met. We value the contributions of Willson Contreras very highly, and we're thrilled that he's a Cub, and we're not going to close the door on anything about his potential future with the Cubs.
Do you think Cub fans would understand that or buy that? That sounds fairly rational, as opposed to giving him away for pennies on the dollar when his market clearly wasn't what a lot of us and a lot of people thought it was going to be.
I mean, maybe, but do you think they're going to extend Willson Contreras?
No.
Right. That's what I keep coming back to. If I thought there was any chance of them extending Willson Contreras, then fine. I like Willson Contreras.
Well,
I love Willson Contreras.
So
but
you know what's going to happen?
Sign him.
They're going to give him the qualifying offer, which will be what, $18 million or whatever it is for 1 year. And he will have to look into the market, have his agent look into the market and see if he thinks he can get a really good deal out there. And if he can, he'll go. Or he might play for another year and bet on himself again, which seems crazy because he's having a very good year. So,
and I think that Contreras is going to be furious. I think he's going to say that he's happy to be a Cub, but I think he's going to be furious about what the qualifying offer is going to do to his free agent value.